May the words of my mouth and the meditations of all our hearts be acceptable to you, O Lord, our strength and our Redeemer. Amen. Amen. Happy Thanksgiving, saints. Happy Thanksgiving. I feel like it's family here today. This is great. I wish you a cornucopia of blessings on this festive day. Thanksgiving brings to mind images with which many of us were raised, of pilgrims and Native Americans sharing a meal in a picture of friendship and peace, an image that sets forth a bucolic expectation for this day. It turns out the truth is a bit more nuanced, not to mention apt. First of all, the Wampanoag were not actually invited to the Pilgrims' Feast. They had heard gunshots that were part of the revelry and assumed that the Pilgrims were being attacked. And having entered into a mutual defense agreement with them, the head of the Wampanoag arrived with 90 of his men, vastly outnumbering the Pilgrims and causing a certain amount of stir as to everyone's intention. All was worked out. The Wampanoag stayed for 3 days, providing the bulk of the food. All of which is to say, if your family gathering involves misunderstandings, strange bedfellows, and, well, let's just say tricky politics, you are part of a long tradition. Throughout American history, Thanksgivings have been celebrated to mark various occasions. There was one to celebrate the victory over the British at Saratoga in 1777, another to celebrate the Constitution in 1789, and then states held their own Thanksgivings on any day of their choosing between September and November. It's illuminating to discover that during the Civil War, northern states were celebrating Thanksgiving after northern victories, and southerners were celebrating after Southern victories. And this continued until the Union victory at Gettysburg in 1863. A woman named Sarah Josepha Hale, who was a prominent writer and editor, she was also one of the founders of Vassar, had been campaigning for a national day of Thanksgiving for 36 years. She thought such a day would draw families and the nation closer together. And she had been lobbying presidents for their support and enlisted her numerous magazine subscribers to do the same. Hale wrote President Lincoln on September 28, 1863, urging him again to make the holiday permanently an American custom and institution. And less than a week later, on October 3rd, 1863, he did. Because he thought finally the time was ripe. Lincoln thought the victories at Gettysburg and Vicksburg made it look like ultimate victory for the Union was in sight. And in an attempt to draw this torn nation together, Abraham Lincoln made the proclamation that the nation's many blessings, quote, should be solemnly, reverently, and gratefully acknowledged. I do thereby invite my fellow citizens in every part of the United States, and also those who are at sea and those who are sojourning in foreign lands, to set apart and observe the last Thursday of November as a day of thanksgiving and praise to our beneficent Father who dwelleth in the heavens. And it was so. The dates have moved around to the fourth Thursday over time, but from that day, there was a national Thanksgiving. Thanksgiving, the feast day, has always been a feast of gratitude taking place in the midst of life as it is. Not life as we think it should be or life as we wish it were. It's not a celebration thanking God that everything is perfect. It's thanking God for the blessings that are present, real, and precious in the midst of life as it is. The Pilgrims knew hunger, disease, and starvation, and thanked God anyway for the persistence of life, for the bounty of the earth, and for the comfort of community. The North and the South were bloodied and traumatized by the Civil War and thanked God anyway for the persistence of life, the hope of healing, and the possibility of peace. Thanksgiving is an invitation and a discipline. What we focus on, we make more of. We can complain and remain, or we can praise and be raised. It is literally up to us. We can make Thanksgiving more than a one-day affair. It can be a way of life. It is the spiritual practice of looking at what's good in a situation, in another person, in our life, in our families, in ourselves, giving us more energy and hope to tackle or just to live with the rest. Thanksgiving is not about denying there are problems. Thanksgiving is denying that problems have the last word. There will be a lot of dirty dishes today. Chairs may be empty that we wish were filled. Politics may differ. Feathers will undoubtedly get ruffled. It's okay. It's really okay. We can, like those who have gone before us, resolve on this day and maybe every day that follows to be thankful and grateful anyway for fond memories and blessings shared, for the abundance of the heart, for the capacity to love, laugh, forgive, and start anew, for the gift of joy and wonder in all God's works. What we focus on, we make more of, saints. I wish us all a very happy Thanksgiving.